over here is acting like a real villain and even threatens to subdue Yamaguchi if the police get called. Yuto arrives quickly and immediately questions this psycho. Kazu is one of those people who loves playing games with people. He hasn't been enjoying things because he gets to squash punks that are nowhere near his level. Since Yuto's name became a popular hit, he's on the hunt for him. Yuto is angered that all of this happened because of a petty reason. He rushes to attack Kazu, who dodges it like it's nothing. The psychopath even praises Yuto's skills, but literally plays with him like he's a toy. Even the bully thinks it's impossible for him to defeat a fighter like Kazu, who destroyed every single gang in the area. The dude is a monster, but something about his opponent seems to strike him odd. He realizes that there is nothing special about Yuto, that he's just a ball of emptiness with no talent. He repeats the same moves like a damn NPC with the easiest fighting moves. Kazu realizes that a coach had to sculpt this talentless fuck from the ground up so that he could obtain the strength. Kazu bashes him with a hook, proving the point that he's on a different level. He remarks that Yuto's fighting ability is based on simplicity, while Kazu is a genius in the art of boxing. He finds the fight incredibly boring and delivers a powerful smash. Yuto fidgets as he questions why someone so powerful is wasting his time being selfish instead of helping others. But this dude basically gives him a "who asked" face and continued to beat the ever-living shit out of him. It was a merciless beating until Yuto was smashed to the ground. All the while Yamaguchi felt guilty he was pathetically useless in helping his friend. The people who lived for themselves could not infer value from one thing to another. Going home that night, the miserable boy returned to find his mother beat up and abused. The next day, Yuto woke up in the hospital bed with a letter from Yamaguchi. The boy had already sold his life in service of working so that he could earn money. He knew he couldn't have a normal life despite everything he did. In the end, he succumbed to the violence of his life and removed himself from Yuto's life. The moment he read this letter, a transformation occurred. Yuto's entire being changed even after experiencing his growth period. He vowed to become even stronger. In that same condition, Yuto showed up to Misaki, stating that he will become so strong and become a living symbol to prove that circumstances are inconsequential if one works very hard. That was the day the world champion Yuto Takeda fully materialized. Kisaki bashed him during their training after learning about his fight against Kazu. She knew about the unrivaled talent of the genius boy who was considered to be the next greatest boxer of their generation. Misaki wanted to support Yuto's vision to defeat him, so she entertained his delusion through their training. While Yuto doubled down on his training, Yamaguchi felt even more miserable doing his shitty job. The night finally came where Yuto faced Kazu a second time. The result? He got his ass beat the same way like last time. But even after getting taken down, Yuto vowed to crush Kazu's talent someday. After that defeat, Blue Boy decided to switch strategies. He decided to quit his school life to pursue boxing full-time. Misaki, being a responsible adult, wondered if she should help him realize more fruitful paths than boxing. She wonders what his parents would have told him, and decides to give him an answer that he wanted to hear the most, a sign of approval. Yuto's training continued, more and more, from one machine to another. The night of his third fight against Kazu was here. Yuto was defeated again. Without breaking his heart, he returned to train harder. Then their fourth fight came. Yuto was defeated again. He trained again and challenged the genius boxer a fifth time. Kazu was really starting to get bored now. Yuto was defeated again. Yamaguchi cried as he remained miserable and succumbed to his rigid environment, while Yuto trained every single day to change the impossible to become possible. Years passed, and there had already been dozens of times he lost against Kazu. The second he woke up, his only thought was to train. Being so damn stressed, he couldn't decipher a dream from reality. But Misaki felt shocked, because she was seeing him obliterate his growth peak. He became living proof of an athlete who grew past his potential. When Yuto challenged Kazu again, even he was surprised by his improvement. The outcome remained the same, but he was actually glad to see some growth. Yuto couldn't even harbor the words to speak, but everything he was muttering about related to his mistakes. Kazu was getting impressed by his continued rate of improvement. And then one day, Yuto proved to be trouble for him. While his friend contemplated ending his life, Yuto, in his third year of going professional, had several bumps in his rate of improvement. He had become a monster who trumped the genius of Kazu, dishing out a punch that we all had been waiting for. Yamaguchi remembered the beautiful sunrise he shared with Yuto on their first run. A human who had passed the abilities of talent had been born. Yuto Takeda, in his present prime, answers that the sport of boxing is proof that anything can change through hard work and dedication, no matter the circumstances of anyone. The world champion's mission to prove that hope exists for all. The big day is here. The final match between the world champion Yuto versus the lightweight division superstar Yu. The crowd is cheering for Yu's godlike talent as he emerges from his side. Those eyes with unparalleled talent take the crowd by storm. This is the man who didn't take a single punch from Jean, and now he's hungry for his second title. From the other side emerges the champion himself, Yuto Takeda. He's the guy who is strongly boasted as the best infighter in the world. It is Yuto's incredible hard work that made him the boxer who conquered the junior welterweight division. The difference in their physique is hilarious. Yu's bottomless eyes stare in indifference. All eyes are on these two fighters, each representing the peak of hard work and talent. However, even the commentators are confident of Yu's immediate victory. They don't think the reigning world champion has a chance of surviving this calculating monster. Misaki reminds the blue boy of their game plan. His heart is racing as he stares into an intimidating boxer. Yuto thinks that it's okay if he gets knocked down because he can always get back up again. The fight begins as he dashes to attack Yu, attempting to overcome the wall of peerless height. Evading his deadly jabs, Yuto cuts past Yu's line and takes the fight in close range. However, our boy dodges and maintains his distance. Misaki's game plan for him is to keep the pressure on his opponent. Back when they watched the match with Jean, they realized this attack of Yu is impossible to counter. The only solution against such a move is to compromise the range of his opponent. Yuto capitalizes on pressure, making sure Yu never gets the chance to deliver his lethal move. Their plan is to draw the fight for all 12 rounds, and something they've learned from Yu's fights is that he never experienced a drawn-out battle. They think it is possible his body will show signs of weakness, giving them the opportunity to defeat the monster. But this simple and see-through plan is well within the expectations of K. In their battle strategy, he coached Yu about Yuto's strong points. His muscles are the ultimate defense, while his lightning-fast speed and incredible stamina make him a force to be reckoned with. In essence, since Yu is an outboxer, Yuto is supposed to be his greatest weakness. Yuto's stamina is so freakishly powerful that he doesn't show signs of fatigue even in drawn-out battles. At first, Yu planned to strike him in range, but he's in the mood to prove a point. Adjusting his position, Yu shocks the world as he mimics the world champion's stance. K wants the world to know what true talent really looks like. The world is stupefied, including Yuto, who doesn't want to focus on overthinking and instead prioritizes the attack. Then the first punch rains on him, shocking the spectators. A second punch follows and connects, putting this dude in a daze. He's like, what in the actual F is going on right now? The thing is, Yu is copying each of his movements down to the smallest of details. What's more is that he's faster and more precise than the guy who spent a decade honing his skills. Misaki is rendered speechless while Blue Boy is literally questioning his life's decisions. He's realized that this is the level of talent that cannot be contested. It is a fact of reality that Yu would defeat him every time they faced each other. The crowd goes wild seeing Yu's sudden shift in fighting stance. A person mirroring his abilities is outclassing the world champion in a devastating beatdown. Yu refuses to hold back, and even feints are ineffective. When Yuto tries to go heavy on the guard, he gets slammed from the side. Just like how he would rain down a barrage of punches against his opponents, Yu is doing the same to him. Misaki realizes he's in a serious pinch, and hopes that he survives the first round so they can discuss a way out. The first round does come to an end along with Yuto Takeda's confidence. My guy's face looks like he's seen a ghost or something. Misaki brings this fool back to reality, stating that it's no time for him to zone out. The poor guy is at a loss for words as he sees no competition to use powers. Misaki argues that there has to be a weakness that even Yu is victim to. She wants to exploit such a weakness in the upcoming rounds. As for Kei, he's just chilling with the easiest job of his lives. Yu initially has an unimpressive opinion of Yuto, but Kei emphasizes that this guy is a late bloomer and grows greater in response to the challenge he faces. It's fully possible for him to keep Yu on edge, but our board protagonist legit couldn't care less. After the first round, the commentators believe that Yuto has some kind of strategy in the upcoming rounds. The second round begins with Yuto advancing, only to receive a brutal fist in his face. However, he retaliates almost instantly. Misaki's advice to Yuto is to keep on exchanging blows with the monster to remember and ignite his fighting spirit. So that's what he does. Even though he suffers blows one after the other, Yuto is beginning to materialize his hope. He thinks that all beings have hope no matter how big or small. Yuto's ferocity has increased and he already expects to eat a dozen attacks from his opponents. His goal is to stand his feet no matter how hard he eats a punch. It's Yu who is on the back foot now, impressing even Kei with his comeback strategy. Bob Ross's duplicate over here believes that Yu is mocking the world champion with how little he has showed of his true powers. The atmosphere of the ring changes when Yu dashes to increase the distance. Yuto was expecting to narrow the distance, but his hope began turning to despair as he was furiously slammed against a mountain of blows. All of his openings were closed as the monster unveiled a sliver of his true strength. With his guard being wide open, Yuto suffers a cataclysmic punch through his gut, knocking the world champion on his knees. The adversity that he was expecting had yet to present itself. The boxer Yu is there to destroy the world champion as the world watches. Among the crowd sits a boy. It is Yamaguchi who is rooting for Yuto's success. The author brings an interesting point regarding effort, as it is always portrayed to be exciting to watch. But the reality of true effort is the loneliness and mental fatigue that comes from doing the same thing endlessly. Misaki saw the shadow of his parents and her old friends while he suffers to maintain a plank. So after the training, Misaki almost wanted to sway his mind about boxing and decided not to pursue the thought. Back in the ring, the world champion of the junior welterweight division is suffering immense pain. It's hard for him to breathe, but the blue boy remembers the power of friendship and gets right back up. However, his opponent Yu remains unfazed and undeterred. The big question is how he is ever going to overcome him. The round continues with Yuto analyzing his situation. He knows that he has to suffer through the hits and break inside Yu's range. He does that successfully and manages to close the gap by putting pressure on Yu. Gojo's dad Kei is impressed that he's trying to make a comeback, but even Blue Boy is starting to realize that he can't keep up for long. Yu goes on the offensive, giving him a fraction of a time to wonder what he should respond with. The monster delivers his killing move, but something impressive happens. The world champion has cut past his attack, putting Yu off balance at the last second. Coach Kei is ecstatic for the hardworking boxer. The second round is coming to a close with Yuto giving our boy a run for his money with his tackles. The world champion perseveres against heavy attacks to the point even his body of extreme endurance is starting to wear down. Yuto dashes faster, only to get punched so hard that he's knocked down for the second time. Misaki is contemplating surrender, while Blue Boy is out for days. Bro looks depressed, but then he remembers what he is fighting for and gets back up again. Becoming the embodiment of his words, Yuto Takeda takes the crowd by storm. He no longer possesses signs of consciousness in his eyes. That much is even clear to the referee who is keeping a watchful eye on him. Poor Yamaguchi realizes that Yuto is fighting so hard to show the people around the world that there is hope. He is the one who made him start over and overcome the hardships of his life. Even his mother is getting treated for her addiction. The world champion suffers a harsh blow but keeps on fighting. Even though he shouldn't, he still keeps on fighting. Yamaguchi begs for him to just stay down. The round ends as Yuto officially becomes the only fighter to have made it into the third round against Yu. His coach scolds him, but the blue boy is so defeated he can't do anything but narrow their range. His mind has entered a state of dizziness. Misaki encourages him to hang on until he can close an opportunity to strike. She wonders what her old friends would have thought of her. Misaki deeply regrets that she wasn't able to allow him the chance to enjoy a comfortable life. The third round begins with an acceptance of her faults. Yuto is immediately paraded with tons of brutal attacks. Despite the champion's despair, Kei is impressed by Yuto's potential, who only continues to improve in each round. He's like a textbook comic hero who just keeps on getting better and better to defeat the villain. Kei thinks it'll be a healthy experience for Yu, as his final opponent will be his toughest, the heavyweight world champion Aaron. Round 4 until 6, Yuto's undying spirit and stamina perseveres. He's received countless attacks and is hoping to create a miracle against his opponent. Coach Kei wonders how our boy is feeling in this fight. It's clear that he is starting to feel exhausted. So now that he's in a pinch, Coach Kei wonders what he will do. Yuto suffers another brutal knockdown. No one wants him to get up, no one except the man himself. He tries, but his body gives out as his dead eyes lay resting before Moisaki. He remembers a conversation they shared under the night sky. She thought he worked way over than what he should. So as a lesson, she told him about the harsh truths of reality and how he would overcome them. There is a bleak risk of being shattered after working hard. Misaki feared this outcome the most for Yuto. She wants him to treasure life as she's lost precious friends too, but the fact she could experience such incredible people made her life fulfilling enough. She thinks that Yuto should treasure the same gift of life by resting his heavy burden once and for all. The world champion, no. The boy she brought up from a young age became her greatest gift. Yuto Takeda, fueled with passionate eyes, gets back up again. His light reminds Yu of Jay's persistence. The round begins with Yu dodging a heavy attack. It's getting harder and harder to evade this boxer's attacks. Yuto Takeda has taken the center stage with an incredible lead. His coach is stunned because the most exceptional thing happened. Yuto Takeda lacked the flow of movement that geniuses like Yu possessed. But now, in the midst of this fight, he has acquired that flow. The talentless boy entered the domain of peak talent, evolving and skyrocketing in growth. This monster is unstoppable, until he gets bashed with 3 critical attacks from his opponent. Yuto's body gives out. The monster's strength goes out of hand as the battle ends. Coach Kei out here bawling like he's seen heaven or some shit. During the moment Yu went on the extreme offensive, Coach Kei saw what he wanted to see. The awakening of the monster left the junior welterweight champion in critical health. Misaki gets damn pissed and tries to slap Yu, but Kei is there to stop the bitch. Misaki boasts that she didn't see boxing in that ring. She sees Yu and his coach as monsters. Meanwhile, the man himself, Aaron Tide, has his eyes set sharp on the boxer who will eventually challenge him someday. Yuto's condition is terrible, to the point he shattered his jaw and may never be able to box again. Misaki ends up sitting to the side, regretting that she didn't throw in the towel sooner. She is regretting ever having taught him how to box. Misaki weeps thinking she's failed both her friends, but Yuto utters a sincere thank you for everything. Misaki remembers all the memories they shared together and is indebted to the boy who gave her life meaning. We get to see a fruit basket attached to a note from Yamaguchi who wants his big bro to recover recover soon. After a while, Yuto manages to speed up recovery and is on track to be discharged very soon. The doctor also tells them they have a patient who is a big fan of Blue Boy. This little guy received continued donations from Yuto for his treatment of a rare disease. He fights for his life every day, and there is no sign of recovery. However, seeing the champion fight on the big screen gave him the courage he needed, just like Yuto, who got back up many times. The little boy expresses that he too wants to become strong like his
Order food you love with Food Panda. Download the app and order now.
become strong like his idol. His words remind the former junior welterweight champion of his father. Yuto breaks down hoping that he fulfilled his father's expectations of a strong person. He finally receives a moment to become fragile after his impressive run in the boxing world. The scene switches to a nasty duo of brothers. Middleweight world champion Fabrizio Santorino has just seen the newcomer obliterate two champions back-to-back. His brother and trainer Marco Santorino knows that they're next on the line. The staggering defeat of Yuto Takeda led to not just one, but the fall of two more champions. Yu became the champion of 4 divisions and racked up an audience grossing comparable to Fabrizio Santorino. With Yu demolishing numerous weight classes without a problem, his next target is the one and only scoundrel of the boxing world. Fabrizio makes a sudden appearance on stage, shocking everyone. This guy receives a ton of backlash from the audience thanks to his shoddy reputation. Fabrizio doesn't give a fuck and impressively praises Yu for not receiving a single hit in any of his fights. To give the world a show, Fabrizio pops open a handgun, as if to challenge Yu to dodge a bullet. The crowd goes even more wild seeing this maniac pull up something threatening right in the champion's face. Our cold protagonist doesn't even entertain the idea of fear, while Fabrizio slowly pulls the trigger. It turns out to be a prank to scare the world, which is in tune with Fabrizio's mischievous nature. The audience doesn't like him for pulling up with such a nasty idea of a joke. That is, until Fabrizio uses the same gun to shoot real shots in the air, silencing them all. He declares that he'll annihilate his opponent in the ring instead. The scene shifts to Carmen, who's just popped up at our boy's place. She's brought a bunch of her men, much to Yu's confusion. They begin inspecting every quarter inch of the house on behalf of Kay's orders. The fact that cameras were discovered inside means something is definitely not right. Carmen handles unknown packages and discovers another one of Fabrizio's pranks. He sent our boy the corpse of a headless cat so that he could scare the man. She tells her men to handle the situation and explains that both of the Santorino brothers are a little fucked up in the head. Marco does everything in his power to intimidate and scare Fabrizio's opponents before they even enter the ring. They're like pigs, but Kay's team can handle a bunch of pigs. Carmen is put in charge of inspecting everything that Yu is to come in contact with. The mental warfare between the world champions is already underway. After a deep inspection of the site, they found 30 devices to spy on our boy. Carmen explains that a boxer named Chavo Urus became the middleweight champion after the retirement of Bob Norris. Yes, this is the same Bob from the commentators. He's one of the legendary 5 that Kay trained and made a killing machine out of. Carmen muses that Kay's last 2 students are barely anything resembling humans. Soon after becoming champion, Chavo caused a sudden upset being defeated by Fabrizio, who toyed with his mind. The man manipulating him behind the scenes was Marco, who made sure the boxer couldn't fight at his best. This is to emphasize that Yu's next opponent will take more than just raw skill to defeat. These guys are pussies who don't fight on fair grounds. Carmen warns our boy to trust only her and Coach K. Yu's usual training continues with Carmen keeping a strict watch. She learned that his daily life is pretty pathetic, as all he does is cycle between the home and the gym. There's a sudden shift in Yu's eyes, as if he's even more depressed now. After this training, Carmen and Yu head home when he asks about the bodyguards. She tells him they're guarding his place. She tells Yu to prioritize his own life if they ever get attacked in public since she can handle the threats by herself. At home, Carmen is forced to be his cook